guys, this is Venom coming at you with another build video today. Today we're going to be talking about a 1-bar heavy attack Magicka Dragonknight. I'm going to start first with the gear sets. Lightning Staff for the Sergeant, Sharpen trait, Weapon and Spell Damage Glyph. 2-piece gets max health, 3-piece health recovery, 4-piece weapon and spell damage, 5-piece. When you deal damage with a heavy attack, you gain a stack of Sergeant's Focus for 5 seconds, increasing the damage of your heavy attacks by 645 per stack. This effect can occur once every second and stacks up to 4 times. All of the armor pieces are divines with max Magicka enchantments. The head is a light slime crawl. This gives 771 critical chance. Chest is your heavy sergeant. For the other set I like to run with this is Infallible Aether. Some people they like running Stormmaster, and Stormmaster is better on the 21 mil target dummy and in a very optimized trials settings. When you run heavy armor, you're going to lose out on penetration and critical chance. The light armor gives you those things. So again, and for 4-man content and for most general play, I find Infal to be the better set. The 2-piece gives critical chance, 3-piece Minor Slayer at all times, increasing your damage done to dungeon, trial, and arena monsters 5%. 4-piece weapon and spell damage. It's a double 5-piece, gives another critical chance. 5-piece, your heavy attacks deal an additional 900 damage. Enemies you damage with fully charged heavy attacks are afflicted with minor vulnerability for 10 seconds, increasing their damage taken 5%. So the waist, hands, legs, and feet are all Infal. For your jewelry, Sergeants, weapon and spell damage glyph, bloodthirsty trait. For your ring and necklace, for your other ring, Oaken Soul, bloodthirsty weapon and spell damage. Talk about some skills. This is what I like to run for most general play, especially in 4-man content. The first skill is Cinderstorm. This is going to be your heal over time for you and people in the area. It's got a 22-meter range, 5-meter radius. It lasts 18 seconds, drain 309 Magicka every second. It's just a good way to just keep your health coming into you and into your group. So you summon a Scorching Cloud of Ash at the target location for 18 seconds. You reduce the enemy movement speed by 70%, and it heals you and your allies every second. Next skill, Unstable Wall of Storms. Slam down your staff, you create an unstable barrier in front of you. You deal shock damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second, setting concussed enemies off balance for 7 seconds. When the effect ends, the barrier explodes. It deals shock damage. You can trigger this early just by reapplying the skill, and you can have an AoE spammable. This isn't the best single target AoE spammable. It is good for fighting multiple targets. If you're looking for a good single target spammable, there's some other class skills that you could slot in this spot, or you could put Crushing Shock on, also from the Destruction skill line. It's a good single target skill, and it has a ranged interrupt. The next skill I like to run is Flames of Oblivion. This has a 15-meter radius. It lasts 15 seconds. This skill will fire 4 times. So it's kind of a cast it and forget it. That's what a lot of these skills actually will do, except for your spammable. And this is how you're going to be able to just keep channeling your heavy attacks and keeping your damage up in-game. So when you activate this, Flames launch a fireball at 3 enemies every 5 seconds. It deals flame damage. While slotted, you gain Major Prophecy and Savagery, increasing your weapon and spell critical rating. That part is redundant because it's already built into the Oaken Soul ring, as well as the Minor Slayer from Infal. That's just extra stuff on top you don't need. The skill itself is great. The next skill I like to run is Elemental Susceptibility. If somebody in your group is already running this or some other form of the Major Breach, please just replace the skill for whatever other skill that you like. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can put in here. But in my group, a lot of times I will run this to make sure that the targets have this debuff. So this sends out elements to zap an enemy's defense. It afflicts them with Major Breach for 30 seconds, reducing their physical and spell resistances by 5,948. Every 7.5 seconds, the enemy is afflicted with burning, chilled, and concussion status effects. For your heal, this is kind of a selfish heal, but really it's probably his best heal. You're not going to be able to heal your teammates with this, unfortunately. Coagulating blood. So this area will heal you, increasing by up to 50% additional healing based on your missing health. You also gain major fortitude, increasing your health recovery by 30% for 20 seconds. For the ultimate, Thunderous Rage from the Destruction skill line, this is going to last 9 seconds because we're running a lightning staff. It deals damage every 1 second. Alright. Some other skills that we can replace if you guys want to swap some of these out. And there's, again, it's whatever you like. A lot of these are interchangeable. But basically the way that I like to go at it is being able to attack multiple enemies at once. Cast your skills. Have you a good spammable going off. A way to have health coming in with your emergency heal. And be able to keep your team up a little bit if they need a heal too. And we'll show you another skill that you can replace for one of these if you like. So Burning Embers, this only has a 7-meter range. You know, so you got to be in close, but it's an okay skill. This will deal flame damage, plus additional flame damage over 24 seconds. You can heal for 110% of the damage done with this ability. Enemies hit by the initial hit are afflicted with the burning status effect. It's a fairly good skill. Lava Whip is another skill people like to run. I mean, it's okay. You know, sometimes I'll put it on and goof around with it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. But, yeah. Fiery Breath. Underneath this, there's a morph too that you can get that will apply a major breach underneath the stamina version. It's only got a 10-meter radius, though, but you can hit multiple targets at once. Again, if I'm going to be using that, I would rather have this that lasts 30 seconds, has a 35-meter range rather than a 10-meter range, because this is a ranged build. You know, you're running a heavy attack build, so I don't really see the point of wanting to go in point blank and touching the enemy with the end of your staff when you have 28-meter range and 35-meter range on stuff. I just don't see why you would want to be 10 meters, but you can run the other morph if you want to. Chains of Devastation, they changed this current patch. Whenever it's basically a gap closer. So this will pull you to the enemy. It deals flame damage, and then you'll gain Major Berserk, increasing your movement speed 30% and your damage done 10% for 4 seconds. I don't really run this because it only lasts 4 seconds. The uptime on it is just not enough for me to go, ooh, oh wow, look at this skill. You know, I gotta every 4 seconds. No, I'm good. I don't really need that. And besides, I'm going to be ranged anyway, so I don't want to be in close. But, you know, hey, you can get Major Berserk if you're trying to get some kind of burst damage. It's probably more suited, really, for PvP, you know, if you're just running maybe a Stam DK, you're trying to get in with your two-hander. The skill that I like to run, again, is this, the Flames of Oblivion. This is going to, you can cast it and forget it. It's going to fire off 4 times and it can hit 3 targets. So for your passives, you just want to make sure you grab all your passives and all your skill lines. The Combustion, increase the damage of your burning and poison status effects 50%. When you apply burning to an enemy, you restore 1,000 Magicka. When you apply poison to an enemy, you restore 1,000 stamina. Can occur every 3 seconds, individually of each other. Warmth. When you deal direct damage, you reduce the enemy's movement speed 30% for 3 seconds. Searing Heat, increase the damage over time of your Fiery Breath, Searing Strike, and Dragonknight standard abilities 25% and the duration by 4 seconds. World and Ruin, increase the damage of your flame and poison attacks 5%. You can, if you like, to swap out the ultimate. If you're looking for something that's a cheaper ultimate to run, you can take Flight. This only costs 110 ultimate. The other morph is also good as well. It deals flame damage. This one here, you know, just kind of reduces the cost and gives you more range. It deals more damage, and it doesn't cost as much, you know. So I don't know. They're both kind of the same really to me, but I like having the extra range and reduction. So this will launch yourself an enemy. It deals physical damage to all enemies in the area, knocking them back and stunning them for 2 seconds. Burning Talons is another good skill. This is mostly suited for a tank. If you ever do find yourself within 6 meters of your targets, I mean, you can run this. This will call forth from the ground, talents from the ground. It deals flame damage to enemies near you and additional flame damage over 4 seconds. It'll mobilize them for 4 seconds. An ally near the talons can activate this energy. It deals flame damage to all enemies held within them. I mean, again, this is an okay skill, but I don't see why you would run it over, you know. So this skill right here is pretty good too. Kind of think of it almost like crystallized slab for the warden. This is, you know, you flex your skills, you reduce the damage taken from projectiles by 50% for 6 seconds. When you're hit with the projectile, you retaliate by launching a fiery orb at the attacker. It deals flame damage. This can occur every half a second. So, I mean, this can be a pretty good skill to run, you know, if you're getting hit with projectiles. Draw Essence, this has got an 8-meter radius. Channel Dragonic Energy. Just stuck in the air around you. It deals flame damage to near enemies and healing you for 162% of the damage caused. Every 2.5 seconds, you exhale fire. You deal flame damage to nearby enemies and restoring 10% of the ability's cost for each enemy hit as Magicka. This is a pretty good skill to run as well. The only drawback that I really see to it is it's 8 meters. You know, when you can run a skill that's 15 meters, 18 by 8, you know, this is all made for range, you know what I mean? So, again, if you're in close, you know, it's also a decent skill. The passives here, Iron Skin, increase the amount of damage you can block 10%. Burning Heart, while a Dragonic Power ability is active, your healing received is increased 12%. The Elder Dragon, increasing your health recovery by 5% for each Dragonic Power ability slotted. Increase the range of your melee attacks by 2 meters. This can only apply to instant cast attacks with a 5-meter range. Next update, they're going to change melee range anyway. It's going up to 7 meters, and they said that this wouldn't, I don't think this is going to stack with it. Scaled Armor, increased your physical and spell resistance by 1650. The Earthborn Heart, you got some okay skills down in here. The Corrosive Armor ult here is kind of interesting, especially in PvP. This is meta. A lot of people like to run a stam bomber and go in with Corrosive Armor. You just kind of get around the enemy's physical and spell resistances while active. Activate this ability, your direct damage dealt ignores enemy physical and spell resistances. So this will limit incoming damage to 3% of your max health. It deals poison damage to nearby enemies each second for 12 seconds. The main thing here, if you're running it for offense, is just to be able to ignore an enemy's physical and spell resistance. It can be very, very powerful in PvP. Okay, so here is the other skill that I was talking about earlier that you could replace for one of your other skills up here. If you're trying to be able to heal your teammates, the coagulating blood is not going to be able to do that. It will heal you, but you can put on Obsidian Shard. This is going to slam an enemy with Molten Rock. It does a little bit of flame damage and causes the rock to explode, and it splashes magma around. You then pull back on the mag allies near the enemy if they're close to it. So, yeah, it's an okay skill again to run if you're trying to get your health. The only thing is you have to be able to hit your target. It's not like you're going to be looking in the other direction or not near the enemy, and maybe you've got a dot on you and you need to heal, good luck. Because this, you actually have to hit the enemy and then pull it back and use it for it to work. So if I'm like this, see, it's not going to work. You know, so if I need that heal, guess what? You're dead. You can drop your ash cloud, and that's maybe about it. But you're not going to have your emergency heal. But you know, that's why I have the coagulating blood on instead. But it's, you know, it's an okay skill. You could run if you're just trying to. Maybe you're trying to throw a heal to the tank every once in a while or something. Molten weapons. I don't run this on the heavy attack build. Obsidian shield. Call forth the earth to your defense, granting a damage shield for you and nearby allies. It absorbs a little bit of damage. Portion is scaled off your max health. You also gain major mending, increasing your healing done 16% for 3 seconds. It's meh for a skill. Fossilize is a fairly decent skill. Again, this is probably more a PvP type skill. Encase the enemy in molten rock, stunning them for 3 seconds. When the stun ends, they take flame damage and are immobilized for 3 seconds. I look at it in the same kind of regard. It's just being able to, if people are trying to run around the rocks and the trees and kite, this is just a way that you can say, no, stop. So, yeah, it's an okay skill. We already went over Cinder Storm. This is going to be your heal over time for you and your group. Passives, Eternal Mountain, increased duration of your Earthen Heart abilities 20%. Battle Roar, when you cast an ultimate ability, you restore 55 health, 50 magicka, and 50 stamina for each point of ultimate spent. Mountain's Blessing, when you cast an Earthen Heart ability, you and your group gain minor brutality for 20 seconds, increasing your weapon damage by 10%. You also generate their ultimate. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds. Helping Hands. When you cast an Earthen Heart ability with a cost, you restore 1120 of stamina. This effect cannot activate when using a stamina costing ability and must cost more than the restored value. Underneath the Destruction Staff, this is where your ultimate is. Crushing Shot can be found the first skill down. It's one of the morphs. It's a good single target skill, good ranged interrupt, good spammable. Next skill down is where your Unstable Wall of Storms is found. Elemental Susceptibility is one up from the bottom. So make sure that you grab your passives for all of these. We are running light armor with one heavy, so you want to make sure you grab all of your passives for light armor. We don't have any medium armor on this build, so you don't need that. The heavy armor, just grab your passives. Underneath the Fighters Guild, you want to make sure that you grab Banish the Wicked. This is going to generate 3 ultimate whenever you kill an enemy. If you want to run one of these other skills up here, maybe you want to run Dawnbreaker for your ultimate, you can. Again, you got to be within, 10 meters of the target. So again, you kind of be closer to the target. You may want to be for a heavy build, but you can. Just make sure if you do that you put on Slayer. That'll increase your weapon and spell damage for each Fighter's Guild ability slotted. Grab your Undaunted passives if you can. And I am a high elf on this build. No matter what race you are, just make sure you grab your passes for that. Take a look at the champion tree. Underneath the blue, I have Fighting Finesse. This is going to increase your critical damage or critical healing done 4%, total of per stage for a total of 8%. Weapons Expert is going to increase the damage done with light and heavy attacks by a total of 20%. Deadly Aim, increase your damage done with single target attacks by a total of 6%. Wrathful Strikes gives 205 weapon and spell damage. Underneath the red tree, Strategic Reserve, gain 30 health recovery for every 10 ultimate you have. I don't know why anybody would not want to run this as one of their slottables. I think it's one of the best available. This is going to help you sustain so much. As long as the more ultimate you have, the more health recovery you're going to have coming back to you. slippery. This will automatically break you free at no cost whenever you're CC'd. This will happen. This can occur every 21 seconds. I like to tell people every time when I'm talking about this, the slottable, if you ever go into Scalecaller Peak Dungeon, make sure you change this out. There's mechanics in there where you have to get frozen. So this will automatically break you free in there and you're going to be dead. So make sure that you swap that out for something else. Fortified, this gives 1731 armor, balanced vitality, 1400 health. Underneath the green tree, we have Treasure Hunter. This increases the quality of the items you find in treasure chests. Also means the set pieces that you might be looking for in that dungeon. So if you're opening a treasure chest and all you see is a blue rubidot maul, and you say, hey, where's my piece? Make sure that you put Treasure Hunter on. It does affect your set drops. Rationer, this is going to give you 30 minutes more on duration of any food or drink that you have. Meticulous disassembly, this gives you back more materials whenever you break down your gear. Steed's Blessing, this is going to increase your out of combat movement speed by 20%. We'll have a look at the character sheet. I've got 64 points in the Magicka underneath the attributes. I have on the Thief Munda Stone. It's going to increase your weapon and spell critical ratings by 2,180. And I'm running Blue Food, just something like Baked Melon Parmesan. This is going to increase your max health and max Magicka. The values are still glitched out. But yeah, this is all you really need for a heavy attack build. You don't need anything special. Blue Food is fine. We'll take a look. This is not a parsing rotation that I'm going to show you. This is like for in-game. This is what these builds are all about. It's just in-game builds, playable builds, easy. So what I like to do when I'm going up to a group is just want to drop your Ash Cloud first. This is for you and for your group. It's going to give you your heal. You can go ahead if you like and pre-buff this. Drop your wall and then just heavy attack. And now reapply your wall. And you'll see that your skill, this is basically it. It's so simple in this rotation. Watch it firing again. So you just hit this once. It's going to fire again. 3 times. 4 times. So that's why I like to run that skill. I mean, it's not bad for single target. Yes, there are better skills you can run for single target. This is going to hit 3 targets though. And that's kind of what all of these, that's why I run a lightning staff. Why anybody would want to run a heavy attack build. It's not just only single target. You're able to hit everything in that area and deal damage to everything. Anyway, if you guys enjoy the build, please like, follow, and subscribe, and we'll try to get back to you with another one. Later.